Present.
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 This meeting is being streamed live and digitally recorded. Would like to respectfully ask that everyone please wear a mask. If you don't have one, we do have some available, and that is our guideline here on school property. So we would ask that you comply with that, please. All right, Pledge of Allegiance, Mrs. Hurst, would you please introduce? Oh, okay. So
Well, they can come up. The microphone.
I'm Emerson, senior. Wyland Isley, Lily Montgomery, Lila Burns, Hazel Herbert.
Thank you, ladies.
all right, you're gonna need us.
Please stand up.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Here comes good.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda with addendum for today's meeting, regular meeting as presented?
So moved.
Jeff? Harkness. Is there a second? Mr. Porter? Any discussion? Roll, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Presentations and recognitions, Debbie, please.
Hey, this month I've asked Kim Hirsch, who's the principal at Chillicothe Primary School, to give us just a brief presentation on the good things going on at Chillicothe Primary.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer, and thank you, Steve Moore, for giving me this opportunity this evening to present about all the wonderful things that are happening at the primary school. So to begin with, on the second slide, this is very similar to my presentation I actually before getting hired, and I thought it'd be really good to read this. So I really believe it's going to develop a really strong foundation with positive support, and really talk about what it means to get paid. So what I've heard from the staff is they came from 4 different buildings, right? And didn't really have the time to delve into what Chillicothe is. So I started with first getting to know me, getting to know him. We had a staff cookout, which I hope will continue to be a new tradition. And then of course for the students, welcoming them back. Those are our students. They've been over a year almost. So we rolled out the red carpets for them. We had bubbles. We had music, of course. But again, new tradition that I hope sticks because it makes them feel really special and really excited that they were there. And we'll continue with that by celebrating the staff and the students. We chose a theme, home. We're going to make this place our home. And it's really neat because every single day, around 7:35, Mr. Warner helped schedule that song to go off just 30 seconds. And those young ladies who were in my office and practicing the pledge before they did their pledge, they were singing that song. And it was just really upsetting. And of course, I was singing along with them. We have Blue Wagon, for example. Liz came and helped us celebrate the staff. We had an Anna. Last week, as we got through the first quarter, we're hoping to turn that Blue Wagon in house. For giving us some PBIS incentives for students. And then, of course, having the students do welcome houses. These 2 pictures here are staff that we celebrate So the next page focuses on our achievement, what our building goals are that we have, mainly focusing on literacy. And we have been so fortunate to have wonderful resources provided for our building, and I want to thank you for that because I know they had them before I arrived. And it is going to pay off huge. our LLI reading teachers have also been trained, and that's just going to continue during year 2. So some of the things that we're working on is 10 interactive read alouds per week. In November, we're going to have an incentive for the students. The classes who get throughout 40 leaves volunteer reading are going to get a donut party. So really just keeping that momentum going. They also have guided reading groups. So this is a way to really meet the students at their individual level, focusing on what they need in small group instruction. They'll have that 2 to 4 times depending on which group they're in. And then this year we're also focusing on writing workshop. So how do we become those great writers? And it's really neat to see. I was in a first grade classroom today. You know, we start with the pictures, but then with words. And there was one first grader who was so proud he showed me 2 pages of his writing. So if we can develop that love of writing and give them the confidence, watch out for this world. And then the last thing, we're very fortunate to have these coaches who go into the classroom. And very often I didn't even realize that I walk into a classroom and I see Miss Thornsberry modeling something with coaching. So it's a best practice not just to sit and learn, but to have that ongoing professional development. Or just to send them an email, hey, I'm trying something new. Can I come and, can you come to my classroom and give me some feedback? So I cannot say enough how these resources are paying off, not only for our students, but long term for our staff. The next area is how are we going to tell? Now, how do we know if we're meeting our goals? And progress monitoring, a STAR, data, as well as fast reading levels. So we also have a data wall that's one of every grade level workroom, and each student has an index card, and we're hoping to move them down the different levels. So at the end of kindergarten, for example, they should be level D. Or if those students already at kindergarten at level D, how can we get them to the next level? So we can differentiate their instruction at all levels. You know, whether it's remedial or toward the kid. It's really going to meet their needs individually. And I do believe this reading program does that. We have the weekly board TX goals, as well as students take time during their teacher-based teams to review this data and have those hard conversations. This is working with this student. How can I use that strategy with my own students? And really share it. We also have professional development and bi-weekly meetings. So at the beginning of the month, for example, the literacy coaches are again providing a professional development for children. And we have other goals too, for example, with our PBIS that we do. And then finally, we have a literacy collaboration team at CPS, but it's really neat because some of our teachers, myself, our literacy coaches are all going to CIS and having that continuation discussion. So it's not just a K-2 literacy program, but a whole district K-6. And I really love that, especially as we transition our kids into a bigger building. The next slide, of course, we have to talk about STEM and being a STEM school. Only STEM school is right here in Chillicothe. Who knew, right? I tell people that they are like amazing. I have to tell you how impressed I am with how much has been going on. All these programs, Muddy Boots, Camp Picnic for first grade, Tree in a Jar, Trek in Time, where they go down to downtown and they're looking at pictures and doing research and making changes, talking about changes, innovations in measures in innovation. We've gone through that with, I believe, first grade and second grade. Podcast. They did a podcast episode. Emerson, she was part of that. And to really see them going from beginning to end and putting some of that together, it's really neat that our second graders are doing that. And then their voice groups, which is what choice they are. We have a new second grade teacher, for example. She had an idea. She told Miss Tarleton about her idea with pumpkins. And next thing you know, there's this great collaboration with second graders going up to Logan. And they're doing research. providing us the imagination playground. It has arrived. Those are the big blue blocks, which so totally aligns with being a STEM school and creativity. So we're really fun to have the students play and have fun with that during their recess time. And then that big green space in the back, right? So I met with Steve Mullins and with Kathy Payne, and we went to visit some new playgrounds in the Columbus area, and we're hoping to be able to provide wonderful playground for our students to explore and just continue to grow. So I'm very excited to be here at the so thank you.
Thank you very much. Sounds like you've got a lot of good going on. Welcome to visitors to this and all board meetings. The board desires citizens of the district to attend its meetings so that they become better acquainted with the operations and programs of the schools, and so that the board may have an opportunity to hear the wishes and ideas of the public. All meetings of the board are open to the public and the media. And just a reminder of procedure: limit remarks to 3 minutes with no more than 3 speakers per topic. The purpose of the public participation portion of the meeting is for members of the public to express viewpoints and public concerns. It is not intended to be a forum of discussion with the board. Do we have anyone?
First one is Susie Hill.
Mr. Hartness will be timing.
My name is Susie Hill, and I'm here with Stand for Freedom, Ross County. And I'm here to speak against the mask mandate that's been placed upon our children. I'm here as an eyewitness to the harm daily mask wearing can have on young children. I have a grandson who is mask injured. He has had to have 2 surgeries to correct the harm that mask wearing has done to him. When children are masked, they mouth breathe, which dries the moist environment that God provided for the protection of our teeth and gums. In February, my grandson developed 8 deep cavities to the jawbone, and the upper roof of his mouth grew abnormally. This is a 6-year-old child who eats mostly organic fruits and vegetables, and he has very little sugar, and he brushes his teeth twice a day, and mom checks after brushing. The day I heard about his injury from my daughter, the next day I heard a report that the New York Dental Association stated that there was a 50% increase in children's cavities, and there was an abnormal growth of the roof of the mouth in many of them as well. I feel like that message was from God, and he was letting me know that my family and I were not alone in this problem. Daily masking causes physical harm, as I am an eyewitness to. It also causes children anxiety, suicidal ideation, learning disorders, depression, skin disorders, pneumonia, respiratory illness, inhaling dangerous levels of CO2, and it inhibits the bonding between the child and the teacher by hiding facial recognition and expression. I'm sure there are other harms that will come to light if we continue to cover the 2 airways that God gave us to breathe out of. What element do we need most in our life to survive? Oxygen. What happens when we deprive children of oxygen? Can they think clearly? Can they be free and happy and connect with others? Is masking the least restrictive environment for this situation? You're in a position of power that God gave you at this important time in our world. And with great power comes great responsibility. I'm leaving you with a notice for employers who are mandating the COVID-19 mask under the EUA. According to Title 21 USC 360 BBB 3E1A III-33 of the FD&C ACT states in point 3, which is papers you have in front of you, of option to accept or refuse administration of the product, which is the mask. Stop this unlawful, unconstitutional mandate that we do not consent to. The Constitution gives us bodily autonomy and control over our health. You all have a right to not consent. You just have to speak it. You have to speak it.
Your
Thank
time
you.
is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Margaret Smalley.
It's okay, we can show. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Margaret Smalley, and I'm with Stand for Freedom of Ross County. I am here to speak against the mask mandates that have been put upon our children. I am a nurse of 38 years, but no longer work in this capacity because of all the things that I've seen over the years, and this is one of them. God has led me in other directions, and I trust him, and I know that he's going to make a way in this. And I know if we all work together, we can figure this out together, everyone. First of all, I want to bring your attention to the face mask with the ear loops. This is not a medical mask and is not intended for occupational use. Many of you have those on, I believe. The next one says, these masks help protect against certain particular contaminants, but do not eliminate exposure to the risk of any disease or infection. Last but not least, everyone says K95s are the ones the most that everybody should be wearing. These are the most preferred mask, correct? Right on the box it says non-medical. And I'll leave these for you guys to see. Non-medical. They're not medical. I know this as a nurse of 38 years, and I've seen it so many times. The masks that most children are wearing are not rated to stop the transmission of viruses. There is data on the FDA site about face masks. It states criteria for issuance of authorization of masking. On page 3, there are 3 points we need to look over. SARS-CoV-2 can cause a serious or life-threatening disease to humans, maybe older unhealthy adults, but we are talking about children. The survival rate for them is 99.997% or higher. There is more risk of them dying in a car accident or drowning than dying of COVID. This states that the use outweighs the known and potential risk of such product. Have we ever made children wear masks a full day and harms of masking children? There is no adequate alternative to the emergency use of the mask to prevent the spread. Again, other countries are using ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, that's hard to say, as a prophylaxis, which is a prevention of the spreading of the virus. On page 4, number 4 states that the labeling in masks must not state or imply that the product is intended for antimicrobial or antiviral protection or related uses, or is for use such as infection prevention or reduction. So we are recommending the wearing of a mask that cannot be labeled that it will protect against microbes and viruses. Why are we mandating them? We should also
time is up,
ask if
ma'am.
these mandates are somehow tied to the COVID relief money. Are you required to put a mask mandate on our children because
Ma'am,
you
your time
accepted
is up.
COVID
Thank you.
money? Thank you. Stop the unlawful masking of our children.
Thank you.
Next up is Jamie Jack.
Hello, board members. My name is Jamie Jack. I am a parent of 2 in this district. Today, I would like to discuss the impact on adverse child experiences, known as ACEs. These are traumatic events that occur during childhood before a person reaches the age of 18 and can have a significant impact on one's physical, emotional, and mental health throughout their entire life and can damage a child's sense of safety, stability, and bonding. Long-term data on COVID is not there, but we do have information on COVID environment itself. Abuse in children, neglect on children, domestic violence, depression, anxiety, and suicide. These are all at an all-time high. Now add that our children are currently being raised in fear, plagued with anxiety, and are in desperate need of normal social interaction. They've been conditioned to fear each other, fear this world, fear illnesses and viruses, even fear the fresh air that they should and deserve to be breathing. Children are extremely resilient, and natural exposures to viruses help build an even stronger immune system. My hopes and prayers that the fight back that you're seeing from parents now will ripple into the change that is necessary for our schools to get back on track and get back to normal. It's time we stop treating our children like disease-ridden super spreaders and get back to what our children need: socialization and quality education. And now I just want to give one quick little example of what I go through every morning and what my daughter goes through. She's 5. Both of my children entered their school journey in a COVID world. Okay, so they don't know what it's like to go to school pre-COVID. I get very emotional talking about this. My 5-year-old cries. She loved school the first week. Now the masks are having an effect on her. She kicks and screams and cries. That's how we're leaving to go to school every morning. I would homeschool, but I'm in school myself and I also work full time. So she comes home, her eyes are red. She's complaining of a headache. She doesn't use the word headache because she's only 5. So she says, my head hurts. She wants to go to bed at 5 and 6 o'clock. There's a couple times I've let her. So just let her go to bed without dinner, which obviously mom guilt. I feel bad for that. She has she has sinus problems. She has allergies. So she's either runny nose or she's stuffed up. So with that mask on, all that snot, it's just imploring more infections on her. And it's just really sad. And the last thing I want to do, because I do love the staff and the students and the school itself. I know I'm out of time. Just give me one more second, please. I do not want to pull the kids out of this school. I really don't. But I feel that if things don't make a change, that I will have no choice but to. Thank you very much. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right, next is our student liaison report, Emma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to present to the board what is going on in the high school with fall sports ending and the second 9 weeks beginning. And also I wanted to brag on some of my classmates and their accomplishments this school year. Starting with volleyball, both JV and varsity teams won the FAC undefeated, giving them the gold ball for the first time since 2016. The varsity team also beat Uniota for the first time since 2012. A special shout out to Johanna Crawford, a senior, who had an overall 1,127 assists in her career. She also got first team all districts and will play in the District 14 All-Star game. She is FAC Player of the Year. A special shout out to Morgan Daniels, sophomore, who got second all team districts in all FAC, and Malia Oni, senior, who got second all team districts in all FAC. Also, a special shout out to Coach Andrew Vidito. He is Coach of the Year for Division 1 and 2. Girls soccer were FAC champs. Girls cross country, they won their league. All league goes out to Simone Florima, junior, Catherine McCallum, sophomore, and Allison Gozi, senior. Boys cross country also won the league. A special shout out to Daniel Herf, freshman, who placed first at districts. Or not at districts, at league, I mean. All league goes to Daniel Herf, Ryan Bloom, sophomore, Reed Proctor, sophomore, and Aiden Cunningham, senior. Boys soccer are sectional champs, and shout out to Brady Wood, he's a senior, for kicking the winning goal against Reynoldsburg. Boys soccer team plays New Albany tomorrow night for district semifinal. Football was 5-4 in their record. They were 3-2 in the league, and unfortunately they didn't make it to playoffs. The Marching Cavaliers received a superior rating at the OMEA event. They also received straight superior ratings in every category and got second place in Class A. The cheer team hasn't started their competitions yet, but continue to work hard, and we're the biggest fans to the football team. This week is Red Ribbon Week, and in the 7th through 12th building, we will be celebrating this with Spirit Week, and the members of TI will be traveling to the elementary schools for the Drug Life presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. I wanted to ask if you could comment about the homecoming dance that was held at the O. What you thought of that, what you think the attendees thought.
Overall, I think everybody had a good time, and usually like people make their own fun, because I saw people dancing, playing card games on the field. I also think there's always a bad, like, people don't like the music or something like that. Like, everybody has different tastes. But overall, I think it was a good decision, and that everybody was happy that they got to have a dance.
Good. Thank you. All right, legislative update. I do not have anything. Next is board action. Is there a motion to approve the lease purchase resolution? I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hartmus. Is there any discussion? Roll, please. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Treasurer reports and recommendations, Deb. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer recommendations?
Make that motion.
Mr. Bonner,
Second motion.
second by Mr. Porter. Discussion? Any discussion? Roll, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Superintendent recommendations, Debbie.
I'd like to recommend A through B. This is falling up here. I would like to note on here that Renee Coughlin, Debbie Elliott, and Patricia Saunders are on there for retirements, and they've been with the district for quite some time, not effective till the end of the year, though.
Is there a motion to approve the superintendent recommendations?
Make a motion.
Mr. Bonner, second by Mr. Hartmus. Any discussion? Roll.
Mrs. Bordine,
Yes.
Mr. Dennis,
Yes.
Mr. Hartman,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
Yes, and we do appreciate all the time that especially those three teachers have put in.
Yeah, I would like to also have Miss Hammond stand up here. She's
Oh.
the new social worker that we just.
Oh,
Mrs. Hammond, she's a social worker for the district.
nice to meet you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, Mr. Mavis is going to be the middle school dean of students. He helped us out at the intermediate 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. So we're really happy to have him back. He just jumped right in there and took off. So it's
Great.
good to have both of them.
Yes, thank you. And I didn't see any discussion or information items. Any board member comments? Okay, none. Hearing none, we will go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of public employees or regulated individuals, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or regulated individual unless such person requests a public hearing, and consider the purchase of or sale of property and discussion of matters required to be kept confidential by federal law, rules, or state statute.
So moved.
Mr. Hartness, second. I will second. Any discussion? Roll, please.
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Mrs. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes. And we don't expect to take any action after the executive session. Thank you all for attending.